Hey, Sean from MiddleGrounded here. I'm going to give you guys a brief history of my involvement in MMA. I've been a ring announcer, a journalist, sparring partner, grappling partner, you name it, I've been there. I've announced for Hard Rock MMA, Warrior FC, Greg's MMA in Indiana, MMA Big Show, B2 Fighting Series. I'm retired now because B2 Fighting Series needed somebody to travel full time, and I couldn't do it. I have kids. So I officially retired. I enjoyed it. Bruce Buffer gave me advice one time. It was when I was writing for his website. He said, "Look, if you're a ring announcer, you need to announce every fight as if it's that person's last or the biggest they will ever have, because it might be." And he was right, because a lot of these fighters would come up and they say, "Man, I love the way you announced me. Thank you so much. I felt like I was in the main event." That's not bragging. I'm just telling you that that was a lesson I learned, and I learned to appreciate the fighters and what they went through, and that's sort of why I got into it. I realized all the martial arts, the 20 years of martial arts I had, it was all pretty, but it was for show, not go, you know? I know karate guys still think, "I'm Shotokan, I can whip your butt," which is wrong. But I started training up at George Gurgel's gym. Max Fighting got me involved with Rich Franklin before he fought Ken Shamrock at the season finale of The Ultimate Fighter, and Rich and I are friends to this day. But I would train with people like Matt Hughes, Tim Sylvia. If you look on the Tap Out magazine, you'll see me on the bottom right, John Hatton in the middle, BJ Santiago on the left. Those two were the owners of the American Fight League. I was a marketing director and ring announcer. In the back is my friend Junie Browning. He was on a season of The Ultimate Fighter. There's Ron Sparks in the middle, Monster. He was in K1. He was in Bellator. And then on the right is Rob Browning, Junie's brother. And Rob actually gave me a shout out on a season of Ultimate Fighter he was an alternate on. At the season finale of The Ultimate Fighter Season 2, when Brad Imes and Rashad Evans promo packages are playing, at the end of Brad Imes, you will see a sweaty dude holding a camera, and they're zooming in on the back of my head, and then they zoom in onto my camera, and on the photo I was taking. Well, that was me. I just got done sparring with him and Tim Sylvia and a bunch of guys. But I've been around a lot. I wrote Tito Ortiz's book proposal from an article that I did on MaxFighting.com. MaxFighting.com is now MixedMartialArts.com. So Tito and I talked. I became friends with him. I interviewed Ronda Rousey at the peak of her popularity. My wife was actually, at the time, we're ex-wife now, she was frustrated because I was giggling so much, and Ronda was too. We were having way too much fun at the time. But I love interviewing people. I loved interviewing. I left MaxFighting.com when they were bought out. I went to BJPin.com. And my audio interviews and BJPin.com radio are still out there. You know, the ones that I did. I just met so many people. I became friends with Kenny Florian at UFC Columbus when Rich came back after he lost Anderson Silva to fight Jason McDonald. I made a phone call, and Kenny came out and he saw me. It was like negative temperature outside. Dana White was coming through, and "Oh, hey, man," he saw me because I knew Dana, and he was like, "Hey, man, how you doing, Sean?" Of course, see, my wife had never seen that side of me. There were people coming up into the stands to where I was, like Joe Stevenson, all the guys, Kenny Florian, all those guys were coming up to where I was sitting. And she was kind of like eye-opening, like, wow. And I'm going to share those pictures with you guys. I'm going to share a lot of those pictures, but I'm just trying to give you a brief history. But I also loved being in the gym. My wife told me one time, I never looked so happy than when I was getting punched in the face. I loved being able to stay in the pocket with guys, even boxers like Marcus Davis, man. Marcus Davis, he was incredible. He was an old school UFC fighter. He would box and he'd put people like me, George. I mean, he would give Rich fits. His boxing was so spot on. He backed me up against the wall. I had to fight my way up the wall. I mean, it was insane, dude. Insane. But I enjoyed it. I really did. BJPin.com now. I write for ProMMANow.com. Now, my involvement has tapered off since I retired from ring announcing. Like I said, I couldn't go national. I have 2 kids. I just couldn't go every weekend ring announcing all across the country. But that was me on the cover of Tap Out. I was the marketing director for the American Fight League. I spoke with Babalusa Raw. I've interviewed Chuck Liddell. I've interviewed anybody who's anybody. And it was a lot of fun for me. And I had a good time. And it was great. I have a lot of stories to share. Some of them are so unbelievable. But you're just going to have to go with me because the world of MMA is nuts. Like I said, I write for ProMMANow.com. All one word. Dana White once said, you need to shorten that. So we, called it PMN for a while, but still, you got to type in the URL. But that's me on the cover, and I have a ton of photos to share with you guys and stories in the future. And I probably left a lot of stuff out, but I love it. And if you guys want me to talk more about MMA in the future, I have no problem doing that. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I will talk to you guys next time.